Hello everybody. I really apologize. Facebook is not having it tonight. I mean, this camera will not turn sideways on me at all. So, I don't know why the camera won't turn, and I apologize for the delay. But we're going to do this anyway. Hello. Let's make some Thanksgiving sides, why don't we? I apologize for keeping you guys waiting. You set this stuff up, and sometimes you just can't get the Facebook part of it, just not going to cooperate. So anyway, but that's no big deal. We're going to make sweet potato casserole. We're going to make collard greens, okay? We're going to do this in two different ways, or two things. We're going to make the casserole first, then we'll make the collard greens, okay? So what you need are your ingredients here. You need sweet potatoes, about 3 or 4 of these, okay? You need a cup of sugar. You need a teaspoon of salt. You need a teaspoon of vanilla. You need a half teaspoon of cinnamon. And you need, this is a 1/3 stick butter. We're going to melt this, okay? 2 eggs and milk, about a cup of milk. That's for your main ingredient. This is going to have the texture of mashed potatoes, okay? Then your top will have brown sugar. You need a cup of that. You need about a cup of chopped nuts, and you need a 1/3 of a cup of flour. Self-rising is good. You can do it with just regular flour if you need it, if you don't have that, and a half stick of butter, okay? Let me check one thing, because I went ahead and started this, because this takes about 30 minutes to bake. We want to make sure we get it right. Again, for you guys that are just joining us, I apologize. I know the Facebook is a little wonky. I'm not sure what is going on with it, so I can't quite get it. So let's get the butter started right now. So once again, this is a 1/3 of a stick of butter, melted. You're going to need that, okay? And if you're making this with me, I kind of told you guys to get your potatoes ready, get things started, things like that, right? So that's what I have done. I've got my potatoes over here cooking away, and they're just about ready, okay? And so that will speed our process up. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel your potatoes, and then you want to cut them up into sizes about like this, okay? I'm going to cut them up about like that. And then you want to put them just in a pot, boil them just like you would a regular potato when you're going to make mashed potatoes. Start cold water, cold potatoes, you put them in there, bring them up with the heat so they'll cook all together, okay? And that's what you do with that. And it's pretty easy. It takes 10-15 minutes to get those going, okay? So, like I said, I went ahead and started those because it's going to take a little bit of time for those to get going. And they are just about ready. So, we're going to drain those, and then we will get the rest of this started. How is your Sunday going? Mine was going great. We got this Facebook started. I'm glad we finally got it started. I don't like this angle. It's a little bit weird, but I promise you I could not get it to flip over at all. I'm not sure why today. So here are our potatoes. Okay. So let's get these drained. Woo! Let me set this up just a little bit different. There we go. Slowly. Again, this is 3 or 4 potatoes, and this is going to be 3 or 4 cups, and that's really what you need to do this. You need about 1.5 quart dish to put this in. Put it up here like this. All right. So there we go. We got that part. Drained, ready to go. I'm going to turn off that heat. I hear my butter back here. Getting with it. It's ready. Okay? So we don't need that. We'll need that here in just a minute. Let's get our potatoes in the mixer. Okay. So here we go. So my Sunday's been pretty good. I got things going today, and isn't it like winter outside? This is a great time to do this. I'm playing George Winston on the Pandora. If you guys like this recipe, give it a share, throw out some likes, that kind of thing. That's what I want you to do. For those of you just joining again, Sorry, the Facebook's a little bit weird, but it's just not working with me today. So I'm just scooping these out. These are 3 or 4 potatoes. And when you drain them like this, it gives them a chance to dry out just a little bit. And someone asked me, when we were getting this ready for the start of the week, someone said, can you make these out of canned yams? And I'm not sure about that because I think you're not going to be able to get this dryness right here to make them like a whipping potato. So the texture of this is going to be a pecan sugar crust, and when you dip into it, it's sweet potatoes that are like mashed or whipped potatoes. It's really good. It's really sweet, but it's really good. Okay, so we're getting these in, right? Okay, let's put this out of our way. Here we go. Rah! Put that in the sink there. And here's where we start needing some of our ingredients, okay? It's a cup of sugar. I know it's sweet, but it's Thanksgiving, you'll be okay. It's a teaspoon of salt. Let me double check that with my recipe here. It's a teaspoon of salt. It is a teaspoon of vanilla. And it is 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, okay? 2 eggs. 2 eggs, there we go, 1. And we'll do these here. 2. All right, so you need about 1.5 cups of milk to do this, okay? And so let's get this started just a little bit. And you may not need all of this milk, okay? So we'll kind of pour it in here. Again, you're looking for these to be whipped. All of a sudden it smells wonderful. You can smell the cinnamon in there. It smells fantastic. I love it. So this is one of my mother's dishes. She used to make this. She makes this around the holiday, okay? She didn't start making this till I was a teenager. And probably like 13 years old, she started making this dish. And it's become a staple in the family. You can use a hand mixer, of course, with this. My hand mixer's super noisy, so this just makes it a little bit easier. My hands are free. I can talk to you guys with it, okay? So while we're doing that, this is my 1.5 quart dish. I have another one of these in the oven that's a 2 quart because let me just tell you, these, see that old school right there? There aren't many of these around, and so I think you're going to have a hard time finding something that's 1.5 quart. But there's tons of 2 quart things. So all I'm doing with clean hands, I'm just buttering the inside of my dish like this a little bit, right? That's good. That's all we need on that. Let me wipe off my hands. Okay, let's turn this off. Let's check it real quick. So what are you guys doing this Sunday? This is what I'm going to do. I try to answer your questions as I go, but I'm going to kind of look at them at the end, and we'll kind of talk if you guys have any questions. Okay, that's good. There we go. So what you're doing is just mixing up the potatoes really well in there, okay? And this is really easy once you get to this part. There's not much to it, okay? There we go. You just take your dish like this. Go ahead and scoop these potatoes out. Like this. See the music? I got it for you on the holiday, right? Okay. Again, this is a 1.5 quart dish. If you have a 2 quarter, you'll be fine. Okay. Now, this is ready for our topping. All you do, 1 bowl, 1/3 cup of flour. It's a cup of brown sugar. Okay. This is about 1.5 cups, 2 cups of pecans, and I'm gonna cut them up very quickly. Just a little bit more. These are already sort of cut, but I want to go ahead and cut them just a little bit more. Okay. I hope you guys can see. Because we had to switch our camera angle, I'm just not sure of everything. So there we go. There we go. Okay. Now, let's put our butter in here. Our pecans in here. Okay. Okay. Well, let's stir this up just a little bit. Do you guys have a dish like this for Christmas, for Thanksgiving? So you're just mixing this up, okay? That's all you're doing here. Very simple. It's more like a crumble, okay? Very easy thing to make. I know that what's traditional is often marshmallows on top of yams. And I guess we never had that growing up, ever. And so I guess maybe my mom just didn't like it or something. I don't know. And then she started making this, and we all loved it. It was great. So this is what became one of our traditions at our house. I'm just mixing it really well here. You could use your hands on this, okay, if you want. All right, so let's do this. Ready? And you just sprinkle it on top. See if I've got you guys. Yes. Okay. And this, when you put it in the oven, 350 degrees, it takes about 30 minutes. This top is going to be very crunchy and awesome, and you're going to love it. And you're going to have this every year, and your kids are going to say you're amazing, and your family is going to say you're amazing, and they're going to say this is the best thing ever. It sure beats the sweet potatoes that we are used to. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but okay. We need to chop up our cold butter. We have it's a half a stick of cold butter, okay? There we go. And we just need to cube this out so we can put this on top like this, right? This is going to melt. It's going to help this make that crust that we want. That's amazing and awesome. We're also going to make collard greens. The collard greens are my recipe. That's something that I like to make. We used to have greens as a kid, but we didn't really make them this way. So I kind of came up with this. All right. So are you guys ready? Right? Look at that. Whoops. There we go. All right. So you put this in the oven. It's 350 degrees. And you let it go in here. I like to put it on a higher rack because I'm always afraid it will burn if you don't put it on a high enough rack. Okay? So now we're going to do a little TV magic here, because this isn't like a real TV show where you can kind of just say, whoops, here we go. This is actually real time, so we have to kind of work it like this, right? So this is what comes out. Are you ready? Let me bring it up here. So you can cook this just a little bit longer for something crunchier. Okay. So, see how that looks? Give me some likes if you like that. Come on now. Nichelle, I see you. It's a lot of butter in there. Yeah, there's a lot of butter in there. It's Thanksgiving. You're supposed to have some butter. So again, if you like this recipe, share it. It's really good. And so this is a 2-quart. This is a 2-quarter. Okay, you can get this at Walmart for $4. This very dish right here for like almost $4, $5, something like that. Okay, and your 3 to 4 potatoes, and your cup and a half, 2 cups of pecans. You're in. Okay, and that's all you do. You want to review it real quick with me? Okay, so it's 3 cups of potatoes. That's 3 or 4 sweet potatoes. It's a cup of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 eggs, a 1/3 stick of melted butter, and about a cup of milk. That's what you need. And a teaspoon of vanilla. You boil the potatoes, you drain them, you put them in, you mix them. Put all the ingredients in there. And then for your topping, you want to put your butter in there, your brown sugar, your chopped nuts. So it's a cup of brown sugar, a cup of chopped nuts, and a half a stick of cold butter, and a 1/3 cup of self-rising flour. You put it in the oven for 30 minutes or so. That's what it looks like. Beautiful. Okay, so let's give it a little taste, right? kind of go over this. What's awesome about this is it keeps pretty well, so you can eat it the next day and just heat it up. Everyone's going to love the topping. The longer you leave it in there on the top, the crunchier the top gets. Okay? Yes. Yes. Now stick around, we're about to make some collard greens, but I thought we'd make this first, right? Hot. Hot. But really good. Okay? It's sweet. It's like candy. So Jessica Shambach, she made this one year and she was like, it's like eating dessert. And I said, yeah, it's like eating dessert. Of course it is. So it's really tasty, really good. And the candied pecans on top are really fantastic. Fantastic. And hot. Hot. All right. You guys stick around because we're making collard greens now, right? But I thought we'd make that first because I feel like that this is probably going to be the more popular item. Try this, and if you like it, share it. I want to know what you think. Oh, by the way, if you're leaving, because I know we have a Thunder game shortly, next week, next Sunday, this time, I'm going to look. I'm going to try to make it 5 o'clock. We're going to do a wild rice and a stuffing, okay? The wild rice is fantastic, phenomenal, awesome, amazing. The stuffing is good. It's made out of a box. It's made basically with the Jiffy Lube box or Jiffy Lube, the Jiffy Mix boxes. But it's really tasty and it's really sweet and it's really easy. Who doesn't want easy with the holiday when you want something that's easy to make, right? All right, so I'm kind of cleaning up here. Okay. So we can make our collard greens, which if you have never had collard greens, you're going to like them. They're really good. And they're easy to make. These are collard greens with smoked pork neck. Okay? You can use turkey neck, you can use whatever you want with this. So, okay. Let's see. Let me get this going here. Here we go. Here we go. Rah! You need a big pot. You need chicken stock. There we go. You can make your own if you want. You need some hot sauce. How about an onion? This is peppers at the end. These are some red pepper flakes. I like it a little spicy, okay? Let's chop our onion first. Let me move this because I think I just put everything in the way for you guys. So it's really easy. And of course you need collard greens. I told you to get a couple batches of collard greens. What's awesome, they're on sale right now. So I think I paid 97 cents a piece for them. That onion wants to fly away on me. So Thanksgiving with my parents and my family, this is what we used to have to do, what we would do. We would drive up to my grandparents' house in West Virginia. It was about a 5-hour drive. And we would get up there late at night because my parents, they would work. And we would get up there and usually go to my mother's parents first. My grandparents lived about 2 hours from each other, 2.5 hours from each other. So we would do both. We would have 2 Thanksgiving dinners. Sound familiar? So I'm just chopping this onion up. Just no big deal. Okay? Just chopping it up a bit. So we would go up and we would have a Thanksgiving at my mom's mother's. And there were 5 children there, so it was a big family. And we had a great time. And this was the funniest part of the whole thing. And to this day, I think, if we did this again, we would probably the same thing. So we would all line up around the dining table and we would say a prayer. I don't think we held hands, but we had to say a prayer. And my cousin and I, she would stand beside each other and we would just die laughing during the entire prayer. I know. We're kids. What do you expect? We're kids. Here are your collard greens. I've already pretty much prepped a lot of these and washed them. Let me give you a close-up of collard greens. A lot of you guys are sticking with me on the collard greens. Good. I want you to try these because I think you will like them. Okay? So you need collard greens, an onion, and I forgot to get this out of the fridge. Hang on. I think I did. Where did I put those? There they are. Hang on. I'm coming. You need this smoke neck. It doesn't look very good, but boy, it makes all the difference. Are you ready? Okay. You can buy this at Crest. You can buy this at Buy for Less. I imagine you can buy this at Homeland. So it's smoked. They call it smoked neck. I think sometimes it's pork. I think it's beef. I think it's turkey. You can use any of those you want. Okay, so you see this vein in there? The stem? I'm going to cut that out. And so I've already kind of chopped up some of these, but I just want to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay? I'm just chopping that out like that, right? Very easy. But it takes a lot. If you guys have ever done collard greens, you want to buy at least 2 batches, and it just kind of disappears into not very much. So you got to make a lot of them. This is where you can employ your college student that's coming home to help you cut the stems out of these. Don't chop up the stems and put them in there. Don't do it. Blah. Don't do it. Just cut them out. Take a minute and cut them out. So that's a funny thing. You can use, this recipe works with collard greens. It works with kale. It works with mustard greens, turnip greens, all of those greens. It all works together, okay? If you like these turnip greens, give us some likes. Share this recipe because this is really good. This is my recipe, mine. It's very easy. I'm just bundling these up and I'm cutting them. See, I'm just cutting them, right? No big deal. Just kind of a rough chop, but you don't want them too big. Okay? Like, for instance, that's too big. That's really nice. Okay? Then we would go to my other grandmothers, my father's mothers, and oftentimes, this was so funny, we would leave late and we would arrive up there, and sometimes it would be so late at night my grandparents would be in bed, and my dad would go up to my grandfather's bedroom window and he would knock on the window and he'd say, "Hey Dad, we're here. Let us in." And those are just memories that you have, you know. So my grandmother, this would be my grandma Folger. We called her Mimi. Her big thing for Thanksgiving was homemade noodles. I have the recipe for the homemade noodles. That's what my sister makes when we are in town. So when we are all together. Okay, so you guys ready? You put the greens. I put the onion in the bowl. I put the greens in the bowl. And you want to do a couple of these smoked necks. Okay? Just put them in. I know they're not pretty, but you will like it. Okay? You want to use about a teaspoon of hot sauce, just regular hot sauce. Okay? And I'm sorry. I just shake it in and kind of guess, but I'm going to pull out my little teaspoon here and give you guys. So this is just a spoon out of the drawer, okay? Just put it in. I like to put in a few sprinkles of hot pepper flakes. It will get hot, so if you don't like that, don't do that. It's that simple. You don't like it, don't put it in. Salt and pepper. This will need quite a bit of salt, okay? Let's start with a half teaspoon because you don't want to make it too salty. I'm going to do this by hand. So, like maybe a half teaspoon, okay? Okay. And then you'll want to taste this as you go along. Make sure that you're happy with it. You're happy with the flavor. Let's put a little pepper. I put some pepper flakes in there, but I like a little ground pepper too. We'll do that, all right? All right, so this is looking good. All you do with this is now you pour in chicken stock. That's all you do. If you make your own chicken stock, you just put some of that in there. Easy, right? This cooks, you want to watch it, okay? It'll probably cook about a good 30 minutes, a good 45 minutes. And then it will be pretty close to where you want it to be. I mean, you can cook it. Some people cook them all day long. All right. And then you just put it on the fire. That's all you do. And then it takes about 30 minutes. But I have some that I made already. I made a little early batch. So we'll take a look at it and see how they look. Let me kind of pick this up a little bit. The hard thing about this is I feel like I make a mess and you guys get to see my mess. That's how it goes. I'm not a neat cook. I'm just not. I wish I were. I'm just not. Okay, so here we go. This is the little batch I made earlier, so you guys can kind of get a look and see, what we think about this. Okay, let me bring this over here so you can see it. So what happens to that pork neck is it just sits in there. Sometimes it will come apart, the meat on it. You can pull that off and eat it if you want. So let me get a little bit closer so you guys can see this, okay? See that? Okay. Really good. The seasoning is right. You can taste that pork neck in there. And it just tastes so good. That's a great little side right there. Okay, so I think we've done it, right? We've made sweet potato casserole. We've made collard greens here, and what? A good, maybe close to 30 minutes. And again, I'm sorry about the top of it where we had trouble with Facebook on this. I'm not sure why. So I'm going to get a little bit closer and see if you guys have any questions for me about this. So if you do, type away, and we will look here. Liz, you missed this, I think. Well, I'll post it, and I will type the potato recipe. I had it, I wonder if it goes away. On that invitation, I put that recipe in there. So what I will do is I will actually take a picture of it for you guys, so you can actually see what I'm cooking on. So this is how I do it. So these are just family recipes, and I literally just glue them on with the old school glue. So let's see. I'm just looking what you guys are saying. The sweet potato casserole is really good. I do have a website that I'm working on. It's not perfect, but you can look at it if you want. It's called paulsplate.com. Okay, so if you're interested in that, I try to post a lot of these recipes on there. I don't think I've posted either one of these, but I will post some pictures and that kind of thing, so you guys can have some of that. How do you get the reminder that I'm cooking? Okay, so what I do is usually about Friday, I post a Facebook post that says what I'm going to be doing, and then you click on it and get the reminder for it. Okay. Yeah. Nichelle asked me if you cook the greens low and slow. Yes. Cook them low, cook them slow. Get them started on a boil, and then that's all you have to do. Lois, yes. Smoked neck, it's at Crest, it's at Buy for Less. I figure it's at Homeland too. I really do. Those are, you're asking me what's on the jars back there? Olives. I do eat those olives. So it's a brand of olive that I really like. I buy them all the time. And yeah, I do eat them. So that's not just for looks. So that's the brand. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even know how to say it. Okay. But my light busts us out, right? Bust us out. So yeah, if you guys like this, give it a share. So next Sunday, we're making this wild rice. It's got mushrooms and teriyaki and celery and onion and garlic, and it is amazing. It's so good. You can cook this with your Thanksgiving meal as a side. We'll also make a stuffing that I like, that a guy at work, we used to have a Thanksgiving day, and when he worked there, he would bring it in, and he would never tell the recipe. So I figured it out. I just figured it out. So That's what I did. So I'm just looking here. So Carol, you'd never made greens. They're super easy to make, okay? Donna, you can put a smoked ham hock in there. If you guys, I'm going to tell you this, but don't cheat, but you can if you have to. You can put bacon in there. Put a couple slices of bacon in there. So the last dish are collard greens. First dish, sweet potato casserole, and then collard greens. Very easy to make, okay? Oh, Cynthia, you're at the parade. Thanks. Yeah, we had the Midwest City Parade. Jessica and I did that on Friday, so we had a good time over there. So anyway, that's kind of what I had made for you guys. Again, sorry off the top. This is supposed to be this way. I had this all laid out beautifully, and I worked really hard on it. And as soon as I pushed start, Facebook would not flip it on me, and I'm not sure why. Occasionally we have that trouble when we're trying to do Facebook like this. So anyway, I'm going to clean up and get things together. And somebody asked me, what do I do with this stuff? I end up freezing a lot of it. I try to make things that will freeze. The sweet potatoes, they freeze pretty well. The collards are not going to freeze that well. But I'll eat those in a couple of days. Where are the recipes? I will post pictures of the recipes. I guess I'll have to write up the collard greens. That's one of those that's up here. So, collard greens I think, well, those aren't hard. Just make them. So, but I will certainly post a recipe so you guys can get it. And I'll post it on Facebook. I'll try to get it on paulsplate.com as well, right? All right, guys. Enjoy. Thunder game is in about 20 minutes, so I think we got finished up and got it right now. Oh yeah, if you guys do the sweet potatoes and stuff, tell me what you think. When you put them in the oven, make sure you put them on a higher rack so you don't burn the bottom of them, okay? So, hey, there's my cousin, Steven. What's up? And I don't think, did you hear me talking about memes, Steven? And her noodles? Oh, those were so good. Anyway, see you guys later. Enjoy the week.